welcome to the Awkward Podcast, where we talk about everything from masking to meltdowns and every single thing in between. The stars in the sky.
Who knows with me, Sophie and Krista, what will crop up.
But today we're talking about communication because statistically, us neurodivergent folk, those with ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia and everything else in between, have a struggle with some kind of communication. But it's not actually that we have communication difficulties, it's more a mismatch of communications with the outside world, because believe it or not, there are people who don't think like us. What ridiculous people. But yeah, don't call me, I'll call you. Is the topic of the day.
Do not get me started. This woman is horrendous to get hold of. Honestly, you ring and ring and ring, and very rarely, I'd say once a month, she actually answers the phone to you.
Yeah, well, I like to give you a once a month answer, tinkle. No, my biggest thing, so I, over the years, have always had a bit of a phobia of the phone calls. I just do not like phone calls because I don't like the unpredictability of not knowing what we're talking about. So, do you know, if a friend says, let's meet for coffee, I'm like, yeah, but what we're going to talk about, what we're going to do, we've got to do an activity. Like, you don't think like this, do you? Because you're looking at me like, what? So I genuinely think of an agenda.
Well, only because I've already sent you the agenda of what we're doing, so I don't need to worry you.
With you, at least I know it'll be a productive cup
we're
of tea.
Here, we're doing that, talking about that, and then we'll be home by that time.
Whereas with other people, this like, let's catch up. I'm like, catch up? What? Catch up? What about? Let's have a. Are we talking about politics? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? I like a proper production, whereas phone calls, unless I'm stood around and dancing around like you, I got really stressed out as much as I love hearing from you, but I was sat down yesterday when I answered the phone out of fear.
I should have known.
Yeah, I nearly had a meltdown. I was like, you better be dying.
But if I have to have a phone call, I have to speak to people, because if I have a question or I need to know right there and then. And half the time, I will not put the phone call down until the person has answered or agreed to what I actually have rung them for in the first place.
But I love that about you, because I've learned to like channel myself into my journalism. So weirdly, I love communicating through words. I love a long email, a long article.
Couldn't possibly.
I love a documentary. I love a full YouTube video. But then now it's all these TikTok short stuff, phone calls, blah, 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 blah. And that just, I'm like, whoa. So everyone always thinks, oh, you're always on your phone. It's like, yeah, I'm only on the notepad on my phone. I'm not actually answering messages or replies. And then people stress me out because then they reply straight back. I'm like, whoa.
If they don't reply straight back, that's it. I'm like, why haven't they replied? And like, even yesterday, Shelley's like, Becky, it's bank
Shelley's
holiday.
Just twin sister,
yeah, twin sister. It's bank holiday. Give people a rest on a Sunday. If they haven't replied, it's a Sunday.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
If I send you something, I want a response straight away.
See, yeah, my husband did that as well with the bank holiday things, because technically, apparently, you're not supposed to message people on Sundays or Mondays. But I still, if I need something to say on that time. So do you know what
if I need to know at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll bloody send a message.
Yeah. So I've started to schedule things, schedule emails.
Don't do schedules, sorry.
Yeah.
No.
So I've started to schedule them, because then I'm like, oh, maybe I won't look as weird that I'm like lying awake at night asking you all these deep questions. I'll schedule it. 8 a.m. You'll be able to deal with that one.
So I'm just going to interrupt you and say, because I'm here, my name's Krista, I know them and love them both dearly, but I'm tasked with trying sometimes to make sense out of what they've said and to bring them back to explaining exactly what they mean about what they think is perfectly normal that other people don't. And the one thing you've both mentioned is 3 o'clock in the morning. Does that mean if a thought happens, no matter what time of day, no matter where you are, you have to act upon it at that time? Or does it just mean that because of your diagnosis, you don't sleep well? You both mentioned kind of like the need to say it as it happens.
Well, no, Sophie doesn't say as it happens, do you? She can schedule it, but if it comes into my mind...
I ponder and write it on my phone.
It has to come straight out, no matter what time it is. And if someone messaged me at some random time in the morning, I will be fuming. How dare they? What time of night do you call this sort of thing? And I'll be livid.
Does that mean you're really angry when I message you at 3 o'clock in the
Well,
morning?
no, I reply to you.
You're
and we have a 2-hour conversation. But I do find it terribly rude if someone messages you. Yeah, I think it's perfectly normal. It's really weird. Like, I find it terribly rude if someone's 3 minutes late to an appointment. Yeah, I won't get to my own funeral on time. I am always late no matter what, but it really angers me if someone else is late.
So you need to say it.
It's just odd.
There and then.
Yeah.
But you need to schedule and think about it. And
Yeah, I need to really think, which is why I don't like phone calls, because they'll interject my mind and then it'll be like, whoa, they've thrown me off, whereas I'm doing this. And my hyper focus is very much writing, journalism, doing it in a way of long form. I don't do short form conversation. I don't do like blah, 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 or like chit chat, because I'm like, I'm not bothered about what Janine's doing down the road. Do you get what I
so
mean?
you don't do gossip?
No, I find gossip boring. Like, I have to have
Facts
unless it's
and figures,
substance.
isn't it?
I
Yeah,
need
facts.
a fact. Like, I don't believe a lot of gossips. I like a good fact, and unless I'm learning something from a conversation, from a book, from a documentary, from anything, until I met my husband Dan, I didn't ever watch anything that wasn't factual. So I won't scroll on TikTok. I won't watch a TV program. And now I'm starting to learn that you can learn things about cinematography from watching TV shows and stuff.
You remind me of a friend of mine. I'm just a producer. Sorry, I didn't mean to interject. Carol Vorderman, who said to me, you might as well take these. And I said, well, what are they? And they were a limited edition, leather-bound set of all the Dickens classics that were worth thousands. She said, I've never read a book of fiction in my life. Here's a woman who knows everything about everything. She said, what is the point?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, fictional stories, creative writing. What is the point
We'll
when
have to
it's
get
not
our Carol
factual?
on the next podcast,
Yeah,
won't we, Carol?
and I'm like...
Who's Carol? Oh,
Vorderman.
Carol Vorderman, the
And I'm
novelist.
like going, but I can lose myself and forget all my troubles in fiction. So it's really
Yeah.
interesting.
God, no, I get bored after the first sentence.
Yeah, no, I just sometimes buy books that are just facts. And then I often buy them from charity shops because then I
Pictures
can
for me.
just give it back.
Pictures.
Pictures?
Yeah,
But
I can
what's
look
the
at a
point?
picture.
Because it's not telling you out.
Well, I don't know.
There's the problem with pictures, I find, there's so many different nuances to what it could mean.
I can't watch TV. Can you watch TV?
If I'm squatting...
Whoa.
Right,
I was
wasn't meant
going
to
to
sound
be,
how it
I was going
did.
to be silent for the next 5 minutes. But what do you mean when you're squatting?
Like if I'm moving around or doing something, it helps me. I need TV on and things around me, like radio on, TV on whilst I'm writing or doing something. So
I have to have
whilst
it
I'm
on to
doing
go to
something-
sleep. But if I start to watch something, I get distracted. Like I'll start on my phone, and then I'll think, "Oh God, I'll rewind it," and then I'll rewind it, and then again, or I'll start
Yeah,
cleaning
but
out the cupboard. But
That's why they started to do that thing, haven't they, on Netflix, where they're doing like passive TV. So stuff like Emily in Paris is just made for people scrolling at the same time as watching, so you don't have to intently watch things. But I'm like, well, what's the point if we're not learning about facts?
well, I watch Emily in Paris, and I've not noticed that.
Well, yeah, it's for you.
And maybe that's why I watch it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because you like a good scroll.
But do
and
you
can
stop?
keep
Do you
on
miss
top
it?
what is.
What I think Sophie's saying is it's deliberately meant
No,
that if you
'cause I
miss
keep
5
rewinding
minutes,
it.
it
You'll
doesn't
still
matter.
understand.
No, because
Yeah.
I keep having to rewind it.
See,
but
with me, I need a constant like auditor. So I always ask my husband, like, what's happened? What does that mean? What does that mean? Or I can't wait to find out what that actually means. Yeah,
well,
but what
like
happens?
with the notes we've got for today's episode, I can't sit and read that. So I had to get Sophie to read it to me, to tell me. I cannot, unless it's been said to me, I can't understand it. Like my daughter, here's a good example. She's done her theory test, I think it was 14 times, and she kept failing. Eventually, I had a word, and I said, look, it's not working. She needs some kind of special intervention to help her because of her conditions. So the
Her
last
conditions
one,
being?
Autism and ADHD. So the last one, they actually had a lady in the room, and she read out the questions to my daughter, and she passed straight away full marks. So that is how, in my mind, in my head, and my daughter said, communication works. I can't understand anything that I read. Shelley says, oh, we've got an email, my twin sister at the office, we've got an email, have you read the email? Well, no, I haven't, you need to read it to me, you should know that by now. And that's the way my head works.
And that is the thing about how education is and exams and stuff, because, so I actually weirdly achieved really well in things, but then also had some like huge blooper moments. So, do you know, like in my driving theory test, it was like, what should you watch out for on the road? So then I think, oh, somebody might have pulled out the wheelie bin, or a cat, or this or that. So my mind goes off on all these tangents.
And they really meant another car coming
yeah,
towards you.
Yeah, they mean another car or somebody opening the door. Do you know what is on that picture? Whereas my mind goes off on a tangent. So those things where it's just a logical, straight question, I'm always thinking outside the box. So I always remember this from school. It's like, why do ships have like ultra sound waves underneath? I said to one of the dolphins that he's coming, but I still can't remember why it was, but it was something very important to do with nautical stuff and science. And all I think about is the, like, do you know, the Elmer the elephant, not a grey elephant. and that's the best way I can kind of describe it. But I want to know, because obviously in, like, our world, lockdown, whilst it feels like a million moons ago, sorry, it's my phone. I've had it a long time. I still don't know how to turn it on silent. And I think I've now broken the buttons. But yeah, obviously lockdown, it feels like a million moons ago because, you know, we've done a lot since.
It is, I would say. It's
but how did you cope with communication? Is it 6 years ago?
Is it? Yeah.
How did you
7
cope
years
with
ago.
communication then?
Well, I used the phone like a normal person.
You probably were revelling in lockdown this.
But another point of lockdown as well, the online classes, you know, the school classes. So my daughter struggled with that as well. She wouldn't do any. She couldn't do it, you know. She didn't want to do it at all. But she still went in for her GCSEs and passed every one of them, but didn't really go to school. It just, it's like, I know I'm coming off this topic a bit, but I find myself being able to have a photographic memory. I don't know if you do. So, like, when I've lost my keys, when I've done this, when I've done that, I have to sit and do my photographic memory. And, like, I remember, oh, yes, I had my keys when I went and took the rubbish out into the outside bin and put it. So then eventually, after ripping the house to pieces and, you know, pulling every cupboard out, I'll go to the bin, and sure enough, the keys are inside the big green bin, obviously, you know. So that's another thing where I'm able to memorise things and stuff like that with a photographic memory. And my daughter does. You can say to her, give me a fact about an iceberg, and she'll know how many metres or feet under the sea it is. And, you know, just, it's crazy how you remember things that normal people don't.
I always remember non-common sense stuff. That isn't very helpful in, like, it could be emergency situation, but if I see something that I know a fact about, I've just got to tell you that first and then say, by the way, I'm walking wounded, my arm's going to drop off, because that is what I will do. I have to get the fact out of my head first. So that's why sometimes I write it down on my phone, because I think, oh, now it's not appropriate, because I think I'm a bit more hyper aware of being inappropriate, whereas I love you because you're not as out, just come out. Whereas I'm like overly thinking and then writing it down, thinking, oh no, I've learnt now not to do that.
So you communicate not in an instant, whereas Becca communicates in an instant. You almost overthink your communication.
Oh yeah, I massively overthink everything. So like, I'll give people like a certain amount of time to either reply, or if they stress me out, reply straight away. Then I'm like, whoa. Well, we're going to have to put a pause on that.
Whereas Becky wants to know.
I like you.
Becky calls me. I'm like,
47 times and gone, wow, you see my message, and then you look and you think, well, it's only 4 minutes ago.
Yeah. So I literally, in lockdown, I got a pole in my house, you know, to pole dance, because I realised that all these calls and, you know, like if you've got like different illnesses and mental health issues, suddenly everything was online or phone calls and stuff. So I got a pole so I could learn to pole dance whilst being on the phone to people because I couldn't. There was only so much cleaning I could do whilst I was on the phone. So then that got boring. So I thought, well, I need to learn a new skill. So So I got a pole, learnt pole dancing, learnt to do individual eyelashes. I just learned I did so many qualifications in lockdown.
I built a greenhouse and filled it with all different fruits and vegetables. We built a garden bench. I built like a wooden well honestly, the stuff I did in lockdown was ridiculous because I just could not just sit there and do nothing.
But how many qualifications have you started and not completed?
Well, I'm doing quite well at the moment. I'm doing an ADHD diploma and I'm 6 modules in, so I'm actually doing quite well. But I do them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about communication? And you've talked about the very different methods of communication. Do you feel that and this sounds really, are you totally confident once you've done your research, Sophie, when you're in a situation, any situation, Becky, in speaking, or do you always worry afterwards that you've said the wrong thing? Or, do you worry that your voice is somehow, because of your condition, not worthy of being heard?
I definitely get that.
And I don't, because I say what I think at the time. Sometimes I might question it, but my head's like, if you don't like me, you don't like me. You either love me or you hate me. Do you know what I mean? I am who I am. And
whereas I much prefer, I have to write everything down to make sense of what I mean and to be able to get the facts in without you interrupting. Not you, just anyone.
That's always a difficult one.
So I like long form writing, so it takes me a lot longer to reply. But I like to be able to write it down so that I make sense of it and they make sense. And then I check. And it could just be something simple. So I even do it with like my husband, with you, with anyone. I'll kind of go, right, I don't want to tell them in person. I'll just do it like a voice memo or a written letter, because I can't deal with people's faces at the same time as communicating something. Because then I'm like, are they thinking this? Are they thinking that? And then I've totally forgotten that I needed to tell them I was in labour, or, do you know?
Well, if I try and write something down to someone, so I'm like, there's Facebook Messenger, there's email, there's text,
there's
WhatsApp. And like, my sister Shelley, she's like, I only will reply to emails. Every time I send her something, email me. So when we got the office, I got her a plaque for her desk that says I only answer to emails because I'm terrible
I would
at
love
sending that.
Oh, Becky, you send on everything.
I do. That's what I mean. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then she'll say, I've told you, and I'm going, but where?
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm thinking
platform?
about is, seriously, what you're describing, if you flip it the other way, your communication, you start off by saying, is it a problem? But in a way, it's your superpower, because you will research to the nth degree till you are confident enough to know your facts, the reason why you are communicating, and then can do it. Becky, I've seen you talk about communicating at the Buckingham Palace garden party, which I would never have dared have done. Tell us about that.
Oh yes, with that Beatrice.
Oh no,
it was actually her sister Eugenie, but we know what you mean. So yeah, we're queuing up to shake hands, or we were allowed to shake hands. I can't remember, but yes.
So I'm gonna start, because Becky always starts a story halfway.
Yeah, three hours later.
And Sophie wouldn't start it the other way. She would want a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
So I was invited to the Buckingham Palace garden party. They said to bring somebody who they thought was very worthy. I immediately thought of Becky, and I'm overthinking, what would I say? I'm sweating, thinking, I hope I don't meet anybody, etc. But I'm very good at doing my introductions, which is what I'm doing now, saying, what do you mean? So Eugenie is walking towards us with all the security. There's a whole line of people waiting to meet. And I say, good afternoon, Your Royal Highness. Can I introduce Becky, who is the founder of Homeless Street Angels, who I'm sure will tell you a little bit about the charity. Pick it up from there, Becky.
So, yeah, I just began talking and kept talking and kept talking.
Not boringly, to the point where
she was
the
interested,
princess said to her, I need to listen to this, and stayed with 12 minutes. I would never have dared do that, but it becomes your superpower.
Yeah.
And I talk really fast, unfortunately, but she understood what I was talking about, because I get very scared that I won't get it all out at once. So, and as you can see, I use my hands, hence why I had my hands in my pockets when we first did our first episode. But yeah, I'm always in such a rush at everything as well when communicating. I'm like in a panic if I don't say the right things that I need to say or if it doesn't come out in my head.
But do you both find yourselves like oversharing as well?
Oh,
So,
yeah,
like,
God,
it
the
can be-
things, honestly, and then you think,
know
why the hell have I just said that?
Because I don't like silence. So if suddenly there's silence, I'll suddenly start talking about like my pelvic floor.
And yeah,
or
you say in
prolapse.
like upsetting situations, you come out with the most inappropriate things, and you know, try and make a joke of the situation, and it's really not funny, but you're hilariously laughing, thinking you're hilarious. But yeah.
And then after you're like, oh, this is not appropriate, and now what have I done?
Yeah,
So then
you
I've
know,
got to keep sharing, and then I'll start
funerals and all
sharing
of
about,
that.
I don't know, my boobs, anything, just to get myself
Yeah.
You've
away.
both been diagnosed. I think it's worth in this episode
yeah.
just reminding what you've both been
What have you been
diagnosed with.
diagnosed
Yes,
with?
so I'm ADHD, Asperger's, and OCD, and it's fabulous with all those clanging around in your head.
Sophie?
Yeah, mine is autism, ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia.
No one likes a show off.
One more than you.
D's, double
One more than
D.
you. But what I'm saying is, when you've done all this, you've done your research and you've prepared it and it's perfect.
Yeah.
Becky, you've talked to royalty, or you've spent 20 minutes sitting in a doorway with somebody who's homeless.
Yeah.
Really working out how you're going to help them. I mean, instantly knowing what to do. Do you ever go back and think, what did I just say? What will they think of me?
Oh, every day. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I remember when I was training to be a journalist, and, you know, I'm very big on, like, oh, there's a hierarchy, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. But then when I'm nervous, I'm even worse of an oversharer. So
Yeah.
I'd be telling these top editors, top presenters, again, about my pelvic floor or something just to make them laugh or to, like, break the ice. So if everyone else is being serious, even to get someone else out of a silent moment, I'll just say something really inappropriate.
And do you worry about it afterwards?
Yeah, at the time I don't, because
know,
then
I-
I've suddenly dug
You
the
laugh it off,
hole
don't
where
you?
you're finding out about all my anatomy.
Yeah. No, you laugh it off. The amount of inappropriate things I've said to like really well-known, famous people. Obviously, we've met a lot of well-known people since setting up our charity Home the Street Angels, and you know, just come out with the weirdest, unnatural things to say to them.
But then also because I with the, maybe it's the dyslexia or how I remember people, because I don't see famous people.
Well, that's
I
what I
have
mean.
like weird
it's like
attachments
the girl
to
next
people.
door or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just have a laugh with them, and they're like, you know. But sometimes it works really well because it breaks the ice with them as well as breaks the ice with you.
And actually with celebrities, it's quite a good technique if
Yeah.
I was to train it, because it was like, I remembered we did a thing, my husband and I was sidemen, and there was KS and I. So I think
It's not KS&I, KSI.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Who
'cause
also
sidemen
has
don't just-
autism, may I add.
Yeah, because they're not just spouting out facts. It's entertainment. I mean, like, who needs entertainment? But no, they're actually very talented. But I could not remember his name. And so I had to think like NS&I, do you know, like the savings account. So to remember his name, I had like KS&I. So now that is his name
Which
for
it's
good.
not.
But then on the show, they called him something else.
KSI.
No, something else. He's got another name.
Oh, I've forgotten, but I know what you mean.
I don't know. He's got a
what's
human
it
name.
called?
And then I was
A
watching a
human
thing
name.
about Hulk Hogan last night on Netflix,
No,
and
no.
he's actually called Terry.
Now it's really going to annoy me. KSI, what are you called?
I don't know. But did you know Hulk Hogan's called Terry?
I didn't.
So-
Terry sounds
this is-
ridiculous.
He doesn't quite have that, like...
I do suspect he was
macho.
called Hulk because of his physique, though. I suspect it was
Yeah.
a nickname. I
Yeah.
don't think his mum said on a one
We'll call him
Wednesday, "Oh, look at him, the bonny baby. We'll call him Hulk."
But then you go down a tangent, and then so then my husband's saying, like, do you know, this is the superstar now, this KS&I guy, and I'm thinking, oh, now I'm
KSI.
thinking NS&I, and then I'm thinking, oh, I really should get my savings sorted. So I've then already gone off on my own little tangent, and then it brings back. Then I get Becky on the chuffing phone. Like,
Yes,
go,
KSI,
sidemen,
if you're listening, we
let me
need
talk
you.
to them, because they'll be a guest on
We
this
need you as a
podcast.
guest on one of our podcasts.
Yes, I'm sure he'll be scrolling through it.
What about communication from loved ones to you? how do they...
Like the love language.
Yeah, no, I don't mean the love language.
Sorry, it's
Sophie.
just because I like that 5 love languages. I was learning it. Sorry, carry on. Yeah, sorry.
No. I meant, do they completely understand how your brains work
No.
and the fact that they're different, not difficult, and I really didn't mean difficult, that it's difficult for other people to think, well, if I just ask her that.
They do, but sometimes it's frustrating for them. Like with my twin sister, she's like, we've discussed this, and it upsets me. Eventually, sometimes I can start crying because we might have discussed it. We might have discussed it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. But in my mind, I cannot remember discussing it. So I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to cause an argument. I just can't remember.
And I think people, especially loved ones, they understand to an extent, but I think because it can be very challenging, let's face it, like sometimes being around us, and we are also challenged by them, there's certain things that it's so frustrating to us, but it also is so frustrating to them that you just inevitably clash because you've got a different way of communicating. So there's certain things, and I know they say like, oh, you should always say that you can do whatever, but it's also knowing your own boundaries. So I choose not to drive because of the amount of different accidents I've had or the amount of different things that it just causes me to
God, you should say on a bicycle.
But I've also chosen never to go to the supermarket with my husband because he's crazy. He goes around up every aisle, down every aisle, up every aisle.
Oh, drive me insane.
Right? And then he gets annoyed with me. Yeah. I'm just going, oh, shiny. And then
and then come out with the thing that you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Not about the thing that you went in for.
You know, like when we go looking for a certain scent of candle that's, gone viral, and we've gone to every Aldi we can find, but we've ended up spending £100 in each Aldi, but still not finding the said candle that we first started looking for.
Yeah, and then I messaged Mr. and Mrs. Aldi saying, where are they? And they're
And
like,
it's at
it's
Lidl.
only in America. Yeah, it's at Lidl.
So
We don't do Lidl own products in
what
Aldi.
kind of people do you allow in your life? Is it only people who understand you, or is it now a kind of, well, this is who I am, this is why I'm doing the podcast, just come on this journey. I can promise you one thing, it's going to be interesting. Is it those kind of people?
I think people that you frustrate soon leave your life anyway.
Yeah.
It's the people that stick. But I always say, people with neurodivergence, they tend to flock together. They find each other. And I don't know why that is or how that is, but you do. You tend to... A lot of our clients on the streets, a lot of our clients that come to our support centre, the majority of them have got ADHD, have got autism, because you seem to understand each other better.
Which is often why they've ended up in vulnerable situations.
Well, yeah.
And because they've not really
That's
fitted
another
into
episode
society.
altogether, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But
Because you do tend to flock, but then I also think it is important to have like cheerleaders in your life with people with different skill sets. So whilst you like kind of go like that, like you and your twin, me and my husband, and we'll be like, oh, I'm thinking, you're so annoying.
And I'm
he's
like,
thinking,
it's
"You are
absolutely
annoying."
fabulous.
Yeah, and he's going, why can't we just, sit down and talk about this or plan? Or why can't we just walk down a supermarket aisle without getting distracted, by things, going in a process? My idea of process, like, what? Do you want to hit me in the face? I like, honestly, sometimes I say to him, can we not have a conversation? Could you just punch me instead? I'm like, I'm not ready for the conversation, even if it's not even serious. If it's not what my mindset is in.
It's so boring, isn't it?
Yeah,
so like,
just
for God's sake, really? Do we have to talk?
Yeah, or make
That's
me
how I
watch
feel.
something on TikTok that's longer than 5 seconds
God,
or
yeah.
less than 5 seconds. I can only
I'm bored
watch
I know
already.
that if I want to talk to either of you, to be fair, I've probably got 20 seconds. With Sophie, it's very fact-based. With Becky, it's very emotional. I can do something like, it would be so beautifully wonderful. You're very emotional.
Yeah.
But I haven't got long before both of you float off into, that was boring and it's not for me.
Yeah, because it's awful though, isn't it? Because sometimes people can be having like really serious conversations, and you're like, it's not that you don't care.
You get up
'cause
and
you
start doing the washing
you
up
do
or
care.
something.
And then you're like, oh, maybe it was slightly inappropriate to then ask them to tie my shoelaces whilst they were talking about that death or whilst we're talking about that. And do you know, like,
Yeah.
or then I go into statistics. That's what I'm really bad at. Do you know, somebody tell me something awful's happened, then I go into statistics. Did you know this happened? And did you know that relates to that? And did you know, like, no, I don't need to know. I just need to get to the police or the fire engine or
Or you just get up and walk away, which is I often do. As I was talking earlier to Sophie and Krista, when Mum and my stepdad and family used to come around, I used to make a huge Sunday dinner, have them all sat around the table. As soon as everyone sat down at the table, I'd get up and start washing up, and my mum would be like, "Can you not just? You've invited us for Sunday dinner. Can you not just sit down and have dinner with us?" Well, no, I can't. There's cleaning up to be done.
But isn't that the worst thing when somebody makes you sit
Yeah,
down? Because then you're like,
you just can't do
but
it.
all I could be washing up. I can talk to you better when I'm doing
I
something.
can be doing 10 things at once. I could be getting a load of washing on, hanging it out, and still talk to you.
You guys are just as lucky that I've got a fetus almost coming out of me, because otherwise I would be running around right now. So we're going to have to change this setup. Because as soon as this baby's out of me, I'll be like, right, come on, squat whilst we're doing it. Oh, that's what we could do. We could
Exercise. We'll do an exercise
hold a
podcast.
squat.
Both of you seem to the outside world extremely confident. Extremely confident. Is that because of diagnosis? Is that just because you've lived long enough to know I'm not going to change now? Is that because of medication that you're both on? Nobody would even think that in your different ways you had problems communicating.
That's another side, you know, an up and down, because I've explained it before on my social media, the stress and the anxiety of going somewhere, going out somewhere, having to meet people, having to make, you know, small talk and all of that, going to an event. Or I could sit for hours panicking about it, not wanting to go, don't want to get dressed. But then I will put matching outfit on, or fabulous, you know, glitter, whatever it is to dress for the occasion, and I'll bounce into that room, you know, like I've no cares in the world. It's just, that's another side of masking, isn't it, really?
But then you have to hide away for a few days.
It's
and
exhausting.
Not communicate in any shape or form with anyone, no matter what's happening, whether the world is crumbling outside, because you're like, I'm so... Like, my social battery has just gone...
It's burnout.
Actually, I don't even think I've got a social
battery. It's actually known as ADHD burnout. So it is actual a medical condition.
And maybe that should bring us on to our next episode.
Yes.
Burnout. What do we do? Meltdowns, burnouts, masking.
I think what causes them,
Yeah. There we are. We've already planned next
there you go, see, into the next one.
Yeah. So join our awkward family online.